promise to the people is on July 20th, Mike will be put to sleep and he will feel my power, and I will go down as the man who put Tyson to sleep for the last time.
What happened at the press event between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson wasn't the usual exchange of trash talk, it was something far more volatile. At first, it was like watching a mouse step into the lion's den, with Jake trying to stir the room. But then he went further, striking a nerve with Tyson by turning his comments deeply personal. He referenced Tyson's late trainer, Cus D'Amato, questioning his legacy and asking why he wasn't able to make Tyson invincible. The entire room fell silent. Tyson's expression hardened instantly, and the energy shifted. Observers say those remarks didn't just hit hard, they reopened old wounds. The tension became unbearable as Jake kept pushing, mocking Tyson in a way that many in the room felt crossed a clear line. The moment was charged, unpredictable, and everyone sensed the situation was about to explode. And then, it did. Tyson's response was swift and furious. He lunged forward, his fist landing squarely on Jake with a force that echoed throughout the room. Spectators gasped, cameras flashed, and chaos erupted. Security scrambled to intervene, but the initial strike had already landed. Tyson had to be restrained by several guards as he tried to break free, while Jake crumpled under the impact. When the scene calmed, Jake was left shaken and visibly injured. Blood trickled from a cut above his eye, his face already swelling rapidly. Witnesses compared it to the kind of knockouts Tyson once delivered in the ring, only this time, it unfolded in front of reporters and flashing cameras. Even veteran commentator Max Kellerman admitted he had never seen a press event unravel so violently. The aftermath was just as dramatic. Doctors later confirmed Jake had suffered multiple facial fractures, a broken nose, and a damaged cheekbone requiring surgery. His team released a statement saying he was recovering, but his July 20th fight with Tyson was now in jeopardy. Promoters and organizers immediately began questioning whether the event could even go forward. Tyson, however, showed no remorse, telling reporters, "He crossed the line, this is what happens." For many in the sport, it was a chilling reminder of Tyson's explosive temper. Former rival and now friend Evander Holyfield said, "Mike's fire has always been there, but this was a side of him I hoped was in the past." Jake pushed too far. Instead of creating hype, the press conference turned into a flashpoint that left the boxing world in shock. What was meant to be a promotional showcase spiraled into real violence, with lasting consequences for both fighters. Jake Paul set out to provoke Mike Tyson, and succeeded, but not in the way he planned. The incident has left fans, promoters, and the entire boxing community asking whether this fight can, or even should, go forward.
Literally had to pay them a lot of money for no reason.
Eyewitness reports quickly began raising questions about Jake Paul's version of events. Just days after claiming severe hand injuries, Paul was spotted at a bowling alley, using the very same hand he displayed to the public as damaged. Tyson himself seized on the inconsistency, pointing out that the so-called injury didn't seem to match Paul's behavior. The press swarmed on the story, headlines rolling out one after another, casting doubt on whether Paul's wounds were as serious as his team suggested. Tyson doubled down, framing Jake's antics not only as disrespectful but outright dangerous. "This kid crossed every limit, I had no choice," Tyson said in his defense. His words carried more weight when Paul was later seen at a party, engaging in activities that looked far from the actions of someone nursing fractured bones. For many observers, the sightings only strengthened Tyson's case and began shifting public opinion in his favor. The media, of course, ran wild. Sports commentators and analysts dissected every clip, every angle, and every claim, turning the feud into a non-stop debate. Former heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis even weighed in, "If Jake is really hurt, why is he out there? It just doesn't add up." But the drama escalated when Jake Paul introduced a $300 million lawsuit against Mike Tyson, filed May 25, 2024, in the New York Supreme Court. The filing accuses Tyson of aggression, making life-threatening remarks, and causing lasting physical and emotional damage. Paul's legal team insists the press conference incident left him not just battered but traumatized, citing medical records to support their case. Tyson's camp has fired back, calling the lawsuit exaggerated and opportunistic. Tyson himself dismissed it bluntly in a May 28 interview with ESPN, "This whole thing is a joke. A lawsuit and a couple scratches aren't going to scare me." His attorneys argue Paul's injuries are far less severe than advertised, and that the emotional distress claims are nothing more than theater. Now the legal clash looms as large as the fight itself. If Paul's claims are upheld, Tyson could face massive financial penalties, legal restrictions, and a major hit to his legacy. And with the July 20th bout still on the calendar, the question remains, will this fight actually happen, or has the courtroom battle already overshadowed the ring? Jake Paul took to a live stream shortly after the press conference incident, his tone noticeably different from the brash confidence he displayed on stage. His voice wavered between anger and frustration, with flashes of sadness slipping through. For many viewers, it was the first glimpse of just how rattled he had become. Things escalated further when Paul began posting clips of himself in bandages and wearing a cast, claiming severe injuries from Tyson's outburst. In one video, he even insisted that he had dislocated his shoulder while lifting a boulder during sparring, an explanation that drew instant skepticism. Critics quickly pounced, pointing out the implausibility of his story and questioning whether his injuries were exaggerated or even staged to garner sympathy. The reactions were split. Some fans saw him as a victim, arguing that no one, not even a loudmouthed opponent, deserves to be blindsided by a legendary heavyweight's fury. One supporter tweeted, "Jake was out of line, but that doesn't mean he deserved to be beaten." Yet many in the boxing community weren't buying it. To them, Jake's antics had backfired, and Tyson's retaliation was simply the natural consequence of poking the bear one too many times. Commentators like Stephen A. Smith didn't mince words, saying Paul had finally realized the absurdity of trying to provoke a fighter of Tyson's stature. Meanwhile, videos of Jake's emotional breakdown circulated widely online. In one clip, he admitted, "I just wanted to hype the fight, not end up in the hospital." These moments revealed a side of Paul that fans had rarely seen, vulnerable, pressured, and clearly overwhelmed by the reality of facing a living legend. But any sympathy he gained was quickly undermined. Tyson wasted no time calling out Paul's supposed injury claims, mocking the casts and bandages as staged props. Within days, fans spotted Jake at a Los Angeles bowling alley, using the very hand he had claimed was incapacitated. The footage only deepened doubts and fueled the perception that Paul's injuries were more publicity stunt than reality. This public back-and-forth spilled directly into the legal arena. Paul's $300 million lawsuit against Tyson became a polarizing flashpoint. Supporters of Jake argue that he has every right to seek justice for what they see as an unprovoked, violent assault. "No one is above the law, not even Mike Tyson," one fan wrote, capturing the mood of those rallying behind Paul. But Tyson's defenders see things differently. To them, the lawsuit is nothing more than a calculated move to stall the fight and profit off the chaos. Boxing legend George Foreman voiced this sentiment bluntly in a May 30th Sports Illustrated interview. "Jake is just trying to cash in. He knew what he was getting into." Now, with the July 20th bout hanging in the balance, the stakes have never been higher. The case is being dissected by pundits, fans, and legal analysts alike, with both reputations on the line. For Jake Paul, it's a chance to prove he was genuinely wronged. For Mike Tyson, it's about defending his legacy against accusations that could tarnish his return. Either way, the outcome promises to reshape not just their rivalry, but a dramatic chapter in modern boxing history.